Okay, the Brazos County Commissioners Court meeting workshop session as follows. It's August the 4th, 1:30 p.m., the County Administration Building, 200 South Texas Avenue, Suite 106. First item on the agenda is called to order. The second is general fund revenue excluding ad valorem taxes. Nina, are you going to handle that one?
Welcome everybody here. Good afternoon, Judge and Commissioners. Welcome to the first day of the FY27 budget workshops. Do I get a whoop?
Woo.
Thank you all for taking the time out to be here as we begin one of the most important responsibilities entrusted to county government, the development and adoption of a balanced budget that serves the citizens of Brazos County. Over the coming days, these budget workshops will focus on reviewing the departmental budget requests alongside the FY27 proposed budget. This process provides Commissioners Court with the opportunity to hear directly from elected officials and department heads, discuss the requests, and evaluate how those requests fit within the county's overall financial plan and overall resources. As a budget officer, my statutory responsibilities is to prepare and present a proposed budget that is balanced, fiscally responsible, and based on the best information available. Throughout this process, my office evaluates departmental requests, analyzes expenditures, identifies funding sources, and develops a proposed budget for your consideration. While I provide financial analysis, recommendations, and guidance throughout these workshops, I do not establish county priorities or make policy decisions. That responsibility rests with the Commissioners Court. Commissioners Court serves as the governing body of Brazos County and is ultimately responsible for establishing priorities, allocating resources, and adopting the annual budget. The court must carefully evaluate departmental requests, consider the county's financial outlook, and make decisions that balance today's operational needs with the long-term financial health of Brazos County. It is important to note that these workshops are only one step in the budget process. No action will be taken to adopt the FY27 budget during these workshops. After the proposed budget has been finalized and filed, Commissioners Court will schedule a public hearing in accordance with state law. That public hearing will provide citizens with the opportunity to review the proposed budget and offer comments during the court before the court considers final adoption of the FY27 budget and tax rate. As we move through these workshops, I encourage open discussion, thoughtful questions, and collaboration. This process is about more than reviewing numbers. It is about ensuring the proposed budget reflects the priorities of the court while continuing to provide quality services to our citizens and maintaining our commitment to fiscal responsibility. I also want to thank our elected officials, department heads, and staff for the considerable time and effort they have invested in preparing their budget requests. The development of the proposed budget is a collaborative effort, and I appreciate everyone's professionalism and willingness to work together throughout this process. I look forward to working with each of you during this time in upcoming weeks as we refine the 27 proposed budget and develop a financial plan that serves both the current and future needs of Brazos County. With that, I'll turn this over to Marcy Turner, County Auditor, to present the 26-27 general fund revenues excluding the ad valorem taxes. Marcy Turner.
Good afternoon, Judge and Commissioners. Under Local Government Code 111 Subchapter C, the County Auditor estimates the funds and revenues from all sources to be received in the ensuing year. During June, budget meetings were held with all elected officials and department heads, and at that time, charges for services, other revenues, and intergovernmental revenues were reviewed. To estimate line item revenues for FY27, I reviewed this year's revenues year to date. I reviewed the past 2 years of revenues by line item. And using these three estimates, I determined revenue by line item for each department for FY27. Elected officials and department heads inform me of any changes in state policies and statutes or in changes in their office that could impact the estimate. Many uncontrollable circumstances may impact future revenues, and these are often taken into consideration but cannot be accounted for. These circumstances include things like the number of arrests, the number of plea deals, the number of filings, the collectability of our fees, and the grant funding policies of our state. Therefore, I use the most conservative estimates for these general fund revenues that exclude property taxes. And I have given you a document that has all of the line item fees, charges for services, interest, and intergovernmental revenues, but I'm just going to highlight in the aggregate some of the information. The first thing that you need to know is that 28.2% of the total money that we bring in is not property tax revenue. Last year, we brought in we budgeted 49, or this year that we're in, $49.59 million in these other revenues, non-ad valorem taxes. And this year, for this upcoming year, for FY 2027, I have estimated that we will bring in $50.38 million. That's a 1.59% increase over the budget for this year. I wanted to highlight a couple of things that fall into the tax category for your consideration. We have $160,000 budgeted for next year for TIF payments. This is for TERS 21, downtown Bryan. I know and understand that this agreement might be, we are still in the TERS, but the parking garage that we signed up to be in benefit for is, I know they're going through negotiations again to extend the deadline on that, but it has not been changed. At this point, we are still actively in the TERS, and our first payments will be made in this next fiscal year. The dollar amount that I've gotten from the estimates from the appraisal district is that our payment into that TERS will be about $160,000. In addition, we have 381 agreements. We have 4 381 agreements that we are currently in, and I have budgeted that the payments into those 381 agreements will total about $1.1 million next year. That is a 16.41% increase over the budget for this year. Our sales tax revenue, I've budgeted a 3.8% increase over the budget for this year, coming in at $26.8 million. That is 14.6% of the total revenues that we bring into the general fund, or about half of the non-property tax revenues. Interest, I have budgeted at $6.625 million. That's about an 8% decrease, and that is primarily because we will begin to spend down some of our fund balance in the next year, and I'm budgeting for that accordingly. And then the final 3 categories are charges for services. You'll see we have a 2.6% increase in that area. That's about 7.8% of our total revenues that we bring into the general fund. Other revenue is showing a 9.03% increase. And then, of course, our intergovernmental revenues at a 7.86% increase. Are there any questions that you might have about these line item revenues at this time? Great, thanks so much.
The next agenda item we'll go into is regarding the capital improvement requests. We'll do the presentation and discuss on capital improvement requests for the proposed budget for FY 26-27. First up, we're going to talk about requested projects regarding Commissioners Court. I'll do the first one, which is going to be contingency, and $2 million every single year. I do budget contingency in the general fund budget under capital projects. The reason is because for certain items, we look at quotes several months in advance, usually between 6 to 8 months in advance, and by the time the project is awarded, sometimes the cost has increased, and this is where you would take that money from. It's for emergencies as well, so if we wreck a patrol unit, we have to replace the patrol unit, this is where the money will come from. So it's just a little area for us to take emergency balances from. The next couple of projects, I will ask for Trevor Lane, Sound Projects Department Head, to come in and give us a explanation on the next couple of projects. Trevor?
Good afternoon, Judge and Commissioners.
Happy birthday.
Thanks again. Appreciate that.
What a way to spend it.
Yeah, so going through, again, some of these Commissioners Court items, these are, again, items that don't necessarily have a dedicated department for them, and so they get lumped underneath the court. And so the 2504 Kent Street remodel, this was a project that the court essentially conditionally had approved earlier in the fiscal year when we went out for a construction manager at risk with a $10 million construction cost limitation on the project. As part of that, I guess, negotiation, you could call it, the 911 district is paying the architecture fee for design, the architectural engineering fee for design on that project. We had a design kickoff last week, and so that is going to kick up here now pretty heavy and quick. Bids are still out and to be due for the RFP portion of the construction manager at risk solicitation, and so that'll come back in the next few weeks, and we'll get them on board and get this thing rolling. If you remember back when we were kind of talking about this, the 911 district, their lease is up at the end of 2028, and so we're well ahead of that timeline, and I don't see any issues with us being able to get that done in time so that they don't end up in a situation where they don't have a home, and so that would obviously carry into next fiscal year. Any questions on 911? Nope. Nope. Okay. The 1003 North Earl Rudder Freeway property renovation. This is a placeholder essentially. We're still working through getting that offer through the bankruptcy court and all the things that we're trying to work with behind the scenes. But this is the building that would serve as the future elections administration office. There are just, me and Bob kind of went through it and walked it. There's some things that it needs a little cosmetic work. It needs some work to get it habitable for the office, and so Nina's got some money in the budget to handle that.
That's the old DPS office.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The 108 San Jacinto property, that's the one at the corner of Highway 21 and Sandy Point, adjacent to the juvenile SO jail properties. Again, just some dollars in there. We were able to get the power had been cut off. It had been red tagged by the fire marshal, and so we're working through that kind of behind the scenes too to get full evaluation on what we're dealing with over there. But this would just give us some dollars to change the locks, make sure the AC is working, just kind of general maintenance on that building, just to make it a county facility essentially. The architectural and engineering services for tax office and AgriLife. So this one goes back a little ways. There was a CIP request a couple years ago for a 4-H storage building out on the site of the tax office and AgriLife land. So the land that the county owns at County Park Court, Boonville, and Pendleton. So this was all kind of happening about the same time that we had the I'm trying to remember what we called it, but it was essentially rework for drainage around the tax office and the AgriLife building. So we went out there, we ripped up a lot of concrete that had moved over time. We added new piers to the tax office building, extended grade beams. We did a lot of work to shore up those buildings that were moving. And kind of through that process, and again, talking to Melissa at the tax office, they've always had issues with their drive-through situation. Anyway, all that to say, it turned into what really needed to be a reevaluation of the parking, drive-through, civil situation out there on that site. And so we had gotten with GLS, our civil engineer who's on contract, to do sort of a feasibility mock-up for what we could do out there. These dollars would basically turn that into a full design phase. This also happened to kind of come up at the same time that we started talking about doing the master plan. And so I think right now this isn't earmarked to be proposed in the budget. And I think that's defensible because until we get the master plan done, I don't know that we want to spend a lot of dollars out there and change up a bunch of things if we don't know really if we're going to move anyone else out there in the future. We have a nice piece of property for what could be a future county office. And so I wouldn't want to impede that in any way by doing any work immediately if we think we're going to need to do something else in the future. So, and then the Precinct 3, Constable and Justice of the Peace, construction or lease. And so this is one we've kind of been talking about for a couple years, but we are currently working with Architect Studio for a site feasibility study for what we could potentially reuse the existing site that Precinct 3 resides on. If you recall, we built that building back in '05. While I was in college, I had to pay a few tickets there, but we left the old building there as well. And so there's two buildings currently on the site. But over time, that intersection has become much more busy. College Station has changed their setback rules for both signage and structures, and so Architect Studio is helping us evaluate just how big of a facility, if we did decide we wanted to build something new there, what could we actually build? And so there's a floodplain on the south end of that site, George Bush on one side, Anderson on the other. It's a tight site, and so we should be through with that feasibility study in the next 4 to 6 weeks, and that'll kind of give us an idea on really what we need to kind of do for next steps. So, any questions on any of those?
Thank you.
All good?
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
I do want to make a note, as we're going through these slides, if you see the little asterisk on each item, that is what's going to be in the proposed budget. So I put a little
It's gonna be in the what?
in the proposed budget.
Proposed budget,
And so
okay.
that kind of gives you an idea as we're going through, if y'all need to make notes, or if we need to talk about it when we get down to the end of this process today, if we need to take it out, add something in, but currently the ones with the asterisks are currently in the proposed budget, okay? The next step is going to be elections administration. Oh. You were walking away, sorry.
Good afternoon. So, I come today to talk about our voter registration system. Brazos County uses the Secretary of State's voter registration system called Texas Elections Administration Management, or TEAM. The Secretary of State's office updated their system in July of 2025, so we've been on the new system for just over a year, which resulted in software issues and data discrepancies. We, Brazos County, as well as most other counties in the state, are experiencing operational challenges associated with Team 2.0, including data inconsistencies, unreliable reporting, and inefficiencies in ballot-by-mail processing. These challenges require increased manual effort and risk to timely and accurate administration to voter registration and the election process. Many of the tasks that we have automated in the past we've had to create workarounds for and use manual processes. Sometimes that's daily, sometimes that's weekly, so we never know when we get started if we find more problems and then have to adjust our workflow for that day. We've had 3 successful elections while on this system, but only because of the hard work and dedication of our voter registration team. Functions that work today may not work tomorrow. Our ballots by mail that were processed through the system just disappear. We're having to perform these tasks in team and manually, causing delays and added expenses to the county. So we're required by law to use the team system because there are legally required things that the state also has to have, like ballot tracking. So we have to input that information in team, whether it stays there or not. But then we are also having to do a lot of those processes manually just to be sure that we can track those and make sure that they're handled appropriately. So for our almost 1,500 ballots by mail that we mailed out for the primary and the runoff, we had to do an Excel spreadsheet as well as a team to track those processes. I've been an elections administrator for over 20 years and have never seen the need to be an offline county, which means using a third-party vendor for voter registration. But I'm proposing a solution that provides a structured platform to support voter registration processing, election administration, and ballot-by-mail workflow, which is called Voter Focus. This system is designed to improve consistency, reduce manual processes, and support accurate and timely handling of election-related activities, while continuing to operate within the state-established requirements for voter registration data that we are required to use. It is my responsibility to maintain accurate voter records, something I take very seriously. And this system will provide the tools to identify and resolve administrative inconsistencies while ensuring that all updates follow established legal processes and remain subject to state oversight. Voter Focus also improves our ability to receive and process voter registration applications and process and fulfill ballot by mail requests in a timely and consistent manner, reducing the risks of delays and improving services to the voters of Brazos County. The system provides better tools for managing election processes locally. It will not replace the team system provided by the Election Division of the Texas Secretary of State's office that we are legally required to use. The Secretary of State's system remains the official voter record. Voter Focus will help the county manage its operational processes more effectively within that framework. This project directly supports the mission of Brazos County Elections Administration staff to run safe and secure elections by beginning with the most crucial component, our voter registration roll. And it aligns with the Brazos County strategic goals of mitigation of risk, automation and effort reduction, and efficiency and excellence in government. I'm requesting $316,000 to implement the VR system's Voter Focus, purchase a secure server, the application, testing, and staff training with an ongoing cost of approximately $49,000 annually. Questions?
Trudy, you know, the more you talk, the less you get, right?
I wanted to,
Just
you know,
FYI.
I would just like to say that these are the emails and the tickets and the problems we have had to overcome in the last 3 elections with this new state system. Like I said, I've never felt the need to spend county money to have an off-site voter registration system. But what we're dealing with and the complications and the expense and the overtime or comp time for my staff, it really starts adding up.
So you didn't do it the state of Texas by the request of what they want you to do is creating this problem or the need for us to spend this money?
Correct. Their system still has some very fundamental problems that we are still facing daily. We have reports that we can't run. We have, when you're a county our size, even our daily work is affected greatly when you have to print things individually instead of being able to do what we call a batch print. Mm-hmm. So if you have 500 voter registration cards, instead of being able to print them all at once, you have to go in and manually print every single one of them. So it's, you know, the frustration and the time constraints that it's put on the staff has become very evident.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Trudy.
One more.
Oh.
So we also have 1,000 pieces of over 1,000 pieces of election equipment, including our voting system, ballot boxes, provisional ballots, ballot bags, stands, barcode scanners, media, and poll pads. We currently track these items with a chain of custody paperwork and an Excel spreadsheet. Implementation of an election equipment asset management system will improve accountability, operational efficiency, and election readiness for providing real-time visibility in of the location, status, maintenance history, and deployment of election assets. This system will allow us to maintain in real time the location and status of each election asset through its life cycle, which improves the operational efficiency, reduces time spent locating assets, and ensures that the equipment is properly rotated throughout its life cycle. It will verify the necessary equipment is deployed to each polling place, which reduces the risk of delaying polling operations and inconvenience to our voters. The system will track maintenance, testing, retirement of an asset, which will also will enable accurate responses to related FOIA requests and election preparedness. It will enable us to track repairs and warranty activities to ensure equipment is returned after sending it in for an RMA, which will improve the life cycle management and reduce the risk of loss of county assets. It will give a complete chain of custody for each piece of election equipment from warehouse through deployment and return to the warehouse, which improves our audit readiness. It will improve inventory accuracy and reduce staff time required to reconcile over over 1,000 pieces of election equipment before and after each election. Election operations require event-based deployment of complex equipment packages to specific polling locations, a rigorous chain of custody, event-based assignment and recovery of thousands of assets within a compressed time frame, and verification that each polling location received and returned its complete equipment package. The capability to do so is a central component to election logistics and accountability. The purpose-built election asset management system is designed to specifically support election operation requirements while improving election readiness, accountability, and efficiency. So therefore, I'm requesting $22,900 to purchase an election asset tracking software, implementing its processes and staff training, and the hardware required to run that system. Questions? I look at you because you always have questions.
Well, the only question I have on yearly annual fees, $49,000. There's not an asterisk by it. So,
Well, because if the project is proposed, then the annual fees will continue to come.
okay,
That'll be a perpetual cost later.
okay.
And they are on buy board, and their contract is 3 years, so we're locked into that annual fee for our first 3 years.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Trudy.
Yes, sir.
Next up would be Light Fleet.
Say that again.
Evening, Judge, Commissioners. Dwayne Holloway, Fleet Director. This year, we have got about 550 units in our fleet that we maintain each year. That's all the way from patrol vehicles to heavy equipment, bulldozers, excavators, all that good stuff. Beginning of the year, we start looking at everything and we go by each one to see if it can make another year. If it wasn't used very much, then, we make the justification that can make another year. There's no need to replace it. The sheets that I have passed out to y'all have a list of all the ones that I have flagged as far as needing to be replacement. We started out with 9 this year, 9 total on the light fleet shop, 3 of which are going to be replaced with grant funds, 22 funds. So that's taking care of 3 of them. So this year it's a total of 6. 4 were Tahoes that went through court a few weeks ago to be ordered so they can hit the order bank as it opened up. And then that left 1, actually I think the half-ton van I believe went through a few weeks ago also for facilities. So that leaves a landscape pickup truck, a half-ton truck for it. And the issues with that one is it's always in the shop for little things, electrical issues, and it's always in there as they can't do their job. They don't have the vehicle to run around and do what they need to do. So that's why I proposed that one. And that's as far as light fleet. We do have them listed, like the 4 Tahoes I have up there. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the unit to go. As you can see on the bottom, I had 2 on there already that you see they're totaled. So they will be replaced. If something happens with another vehicle that's not on that list, it will go away, and then we'll have to pick the better of these to keep going, keep moving. So we don't have to add nothing to it. So we'll run it as far as we can. And when we start building the vehicles, we'll build the worst of all of them. That's all we're looking for as far as the light fleet shop. Then, yes, the road and bridge is the 3 3/4-ton pickups that I have flagged there to go out, and that's because of miles and having issues with them also, just like we were in the other department. They're in excess of 170, 60, 70,000 miles on them, and a lot of idle hours, which really kills them. And same thing there, if they're sitting in the shop, they can't do their job. So that's why we're asking for those 3. And then there was one trailer this one is a 1997 trailer that's there, and it is is really falling apart. And they're needing something that's gonna be more to suit their needs. They have for instance, a big concrete saw that they have to load with the overhead crane in the shop to put it in the back of the truck. To get it to location, then they have to haul a piece of equipment out there, unload that, so that they can use it, which it's a lot more wear and tear on hauling equipment and everything else. I'm proposing to replace that one with a tilt trailer, so they can tilt it, drive it on there, lock it down and go. Be a whole lot more simpler, more useful than what they have versus fixing the flatbed trailer. So
Did you say there's over 500 total?
about 550 vehicles. That's patrol all the way to everything.
You know
Heavy
what,
equipment.
you know what would really help us?
What's that?
Or it helped me, I don't know about everybody else, but I'd like to see by department what vehicles are assigned to each department, you know, with the mileage on them and the year model and
Okay.
condition,
Okay.
because we don't have any idea. I had no idea you had 500 vehicles.
Yes. It's total units that we keep up with. Yes, sir. It's everything.
Yeah, that would help a lot.
Okay.
Mr. Wonderful.
We've been working to clean up that list, Commissioner, and so we have that accurate, as of last week. And so we're
Really?
distributing it, soon, very, the next day or two.
You're just like the good fairy, aren't you?
It's,
All right. And that's all that any questions on anything we've talked about so far about those? That's all my vehicles that I'm asking for. Correct? And, okay.
Thank you.
I believe I sent that information to all of you last week. I know I sent it to Commissioner Nettles, but I think everyone got that
Yeah, yeah,
information
that's what I
with the
was
list of
thinking we had it.
vehicles with mileage from the last time we did inventory of all the vehicles, which was last October.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We have that, but I wasn't sure. I didn't, specifics.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
I just want to address the pickups. I had heard questions about it. I want to address why Road and Bridge is requesting replacement pickup trucks and why employees cannot routinely double up in vehicles. First of all, this is not a request to unnecessarily expand the fleet. We currently have 55 trucks for approximately 60 employees, and employees already ride together when work assignment and location make that practical. However, our crews are frequently assigned to different roads, projects, inspections, service calls throughout the county. Having efficient vehicles allows us to divide crews among multiple job sites, cover more territory, and respond quickly without one employee or crew having to wait for transportation. These pickups also are work platforms, not simply passenger vehicles. Flaggers carry advanced warning signs and traffic control equipment that can fill the truck bed. Equipment operators transport tools, fuel, air compressors, and other materials. 3/4-ton pickups are necessary for safely towing trailers and handling the equipment required for road and bridge operations. In many cases, placing additional employees in the same vehicle would not eliminate the need for a truck because the vehicle is assigned to the equipment and the work function. Certain employees must also respond outside regular work hours. This includes on-call personnel, supervisors, inspectors, project staff, right-of-way agents, and other people who might need to travel directly to flooding, fallen trees, road closures, construction issues, or property concerns. Finally, these requests follow our established replacement schedule. We generally replace the oldest, highest mileage vehicles, often after they have exceeded 150 to 200,000 miles, and repair costs and the downtime begin increasing. We fully utilize these trucks before retirement, and the retired vehicles retain some resale value, so that helps us offset the replacement costs. The goal is to balance cost, reliability, employee safety, and operational readiness. The maintaining a dependable fleet allows Road and Bridge to serve the public efficiently during daily operations as well as emergency events. And so I just wanted to address the pickups that are been requested by Road and Bridge. If you have any questions.
Thanks, President.
Now Eric can come up here.
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners. I had provided to y'all a packet right here that's got all the gory detail in it. And then tabbed here is just a summary sheet, a quick high level for you to look at your leisure. We had turned in several capital requests, some of which wound up, I'm hoping, made it into the proposed M&O budget. But those that remained as capital requests include these first two, patch management and vulnerability management, which together are actually one solution to an unfunded mandate, if you will. The FBI has changed their criminal justice information systems policy to require vulnerability management, detection, and then patching of those vulnerabilities that are identified. The vulnerability management tool would be used to find those vulnerabilities and then classify them in terms of criticality. And then the patch management tool would be used to remediate those vulnerabilities once they've been identified. This is a continuation of a vulnerability management effort that we began this year. It was funded in this year's budget, and we went out and we acquired a small, inexpensive tool to use more or less as a proof of concept. And it is doing what we had hoped it would do. In fact, we're actually going to use that in September when CJIS comes through here and audits us in September. We're going to show them that we've got this tool and that we're making every effort to comply with this new CJIS policy 6.0. But the vulnerability management tool that we are looking to acquire is more robust. And then on top of that, we need the patch management tool to remediate those vulnerabilities that are found. And so we could have requested these as one large request. We went ahead and broke it up because it's actually going to be two different tools. And if money is not available and we absolutely had to, we could do the vulnerability management using the security analyst that I have on staff, but that's going to take away from his other normal responsibilities. And so we are looking to acquire both of these tools. And so note that both are highlighted with an asterisk. I did not realize that there was something magical about that asterisk, but it looks like Nina plans on putting it into the proposed budget, which I'm happy to see. But I was going to point out that the each of those tools at $23,460 and $45,380, that is going to be an annual cost. We expect that cost to recur that cost every single year. It's not a one-time payment. Be aware of that. As you'll see on this front page that I sent to you, we've actually pulled 4 of our requests, which didn't look like it was going to make it in the budget anyway. But I thought I'd spend just a moment to talk to you about the other requests and the reasons that we pulled them. The Tyler Enterprise Case Management Notifications tool is a tool that would be used by the courts to send out notifications to defendants electronically as their case progresses through the courts. We've actually pulled that request for a couple of reasons. There is another tool that the Treasurer's office was looking at as a possible replacement for their Catalyst payments processing tool that includes some of the same functionality. We're going to kind of sit still and wait to see what the treasurer does. The treasurer, I don't think is really interested in that one, but if by chance they were to choose that tool, we don't need to double up on that functionality. And then the court coordinators don't really seem all that excited by the tool, and so we're going to sit still and maybe revisit this in the future, and certainly work more closely with the court coordinators to see if it's something that they are willing to help champion. So we're pulling that request. The VMS replacement was a priority 3 request. This is a replacement for the video management system, which is used to capture all of the surveillance camera video throughout the county. What we have right now, we can hobble along with and limp along with for a while longer. It has been described as frustratingly slow, resource intensive, clunky, not very intuitive. However, we're going to go ahead and pull that request. Let me get to my notes on this one. Since we turned in that request, or let me back up a little bit. We over in IT had started looking at a replacement for that system probably 2 years ago. But since then, the Surveillance Security Camera Committee was formed, and then a security camera policy was adopted since we started looking at this replacement. And we think that committee, if it's in their interest, they should kind of take the lead on this in the future. So think of this as being put on your radar. At priority 3, I wanted to get out there and let y'all know that this is something that we're going to probably look at as the county, but I think the committee ought to be kind of taking the lead on that and developing the requirements and deciding what kind of functionality they want to see in the future. So we've pulled that one. The physical access control upgrades, this is something y'all may remember discussing last year. We had brought this to your attention that the ID badge readers at our doors, and more particularly the badges themselves, are something that can very easily be cloned, and consequently that leaves us at some risk of these ID badges being cloned and used to access buildings by people who should not be in there. Y'all may remember discussing this last year, and y'all had asked us to sit still and wait until the courthouse annex came online and revisit it then to see if we can't roll that new technology into that building. We've already started the groundwork by rolling some of that technology into the MEO building, and then we'll do the same thing in the courthouse annex. And at that point, we can come back to the court and we can say, here's what it's going to take to kind of finish this project. So I wanted to just put this on your radar, or keep it on your radar. So we turned it in at a priority 3. But again, we're pulling that. That gets me down to an unstarred penetration testing priority 4. This is something that I'd really like to champion hard today and see if we can't figure out a way to fund it. This penetration testing is yet another tool in our cybersecurity tool chest. It's a way of detecting network and server vulnerabilities that could be exploited should somebody get inside of our network. We are already doing penetration testing on the outside of our network weekly and monthly. We've got Department of Homeland Security testing our network for looking for holes and weaknesses every week. And then we've got the UT Regional Security Operations Center testing our network monthly. But those are tests from the outside trying to get into our network. What we are looking for in this penetration testing tool is to bring a tool inside that would look for vulnerabilities inside of our network that the vulnerability management tool itself is not going to find. The vulnerability management tool, one of our priority 1 requests, would be looking predominantly at software and outdated versions of your browser and outdated versions of your desktop operating systems and that sort of thing. The penetration testing tool that we are looking to acquire and bring internally would be looking at other vulnerabilities besides those. And so this is a $23,000 request. I should point out that that would be a one-time cost, not an annual cost. However, the caveat to that is that this is something we would like to do on a regular cadence. We would like to do this kind of penetration testing every 2 years or every 3 years. One of the reasons we need to bring in outside eyes to look inside of our network is that my networking staff sometimes can't see the trees for the forest. They are inside of our network, and, you know, for a variety of reasons, the configuration is constantly changing, right? And they may be making changes, and other vendors may be making changes. But if you are inside the forest all day, every day, sometimes you don't see that tree that you should be seeing. And that's why we bring in outside eyes and bring in this penetration testing tool. And so it doesn't have an asterisk by it. So Nina apparently did not intend to request it in the proposed budget. However, I would ask, again, that y'all consider the criticality of this sort of thing. I would point out, too, you know what? I had forgotten to mention this earlier.
Did you remember that the more you talk, the less you get? Take that to heart.
Are there any questions?
No, I need to know what you said penetration testing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I want to know what that is.
You want to know what the penetration testing is?
Yeah, that's the one you just started trying to talk about?
No.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
priority test, which one?
Yeah.
Priority 3, so whichever
So,
one, yeah.
Again, it's a tool that we would run inside of or we would bring in a third party to run this tool inside of our network, looking for vulnerabilities that could be exploited by a hacker. Should a hacker get inside of our network, there are vulnerabilities that this tool should be able to detect if they are present. Bring them to our attention so that we can turn around and we can correct those.
Okay, gotcha.
Correct those flaws.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fred threw me off. I was following the flow and then,
Sorry.
I talked too long.
No.
Any questions?
Mr. Court,
Thank you, Eric.
did he not do
Thanks,
the
Eric.
last one?
May I make a recommendation? I just visited with some of the IT crew, and currently they have some money in their day-to-day operations today. If they could see if they could get it done this year, would that be feasible with court for them to move forward for this penetration test to be completed this year?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand
Yeah.
that. If they could move forward with funding that they have already.
Right.
Yeah, I'm for
I
it.
think they're gonna do a little research, go back today, and then get back with me tomorrow and see if we could get it done this year. If it's feasible, if not, then we could work with the, moving forward. Okay?
Yeah, if they have the funding for it, sure.
Okay. Thank you. Next up is gonna be district clerk.
Hey, hello.
You don't look like the district clerk.
I'm heeding your word.
Thank you. You already got an asterisk by yours, so.
Hello, I'm Angela Lara, the Chief Deputy District Clerk, and this is,
My name's Samantha. I'm one of the jury coordinators.
we are here about new jury software. The current jury software that we have, BC Jury, is outdated. The application was built internally using technologies that have long since reached end of support. Because none of the core components receive updates, the system now carries increasing operational, security, financial, and organizational liabilities. The system would need to be almost entirely rewritten. We met with 3 different jury companies, and we decided on one. But I wanted to talk about what happens if we continue with the current system that we do have. The district courts, county courts, justice of the peace dockets would be halted pertaining to all jury activities. Such disruptions would also affect the public's ability to access timely legal processes, services, and court decisions, further compounding the operational impact across the county. The system that we like is with Tyler Technologies, which we already have a relationship with. This system would be fully online, mobile-friendly access, real-time updates and reminders. It eliminates 90% of undeliverable mail, increases jury yield using national change of address. We do get a lot of return mail back from people who have moved. This would eliminate a lot of that, and Tyler would take care of the updates in the system. It will reduce wasted juror time summons, only what's needed. And let's see. Reduce security and operational risk, lower long-term cost of ownership, and modern SaaS reliability and continuous upgrades. Our request for this is $147,660. And if you have any questions, Samantha
This-
is here
my
to
one
help.
So how old is the current system? I mean, what's like, do you know?
It's over a decade old.
Oh, goodness. Would you say?
Pre-2009.
Oh, my goodness. Okay,
And you said
Okay.
it's currently not supported.
okay.
The current software is no longer supported.
No longer
Right.
supported.
Right, it would, yeah.
Now, I see Nina's asterisk.
Okay. Mhm. You said what about the
I
asterisk?
see Nina's asterisk down there.
Yes, that means it's already done.
Oh, yeah. That's why I was asking, you know,
You didn't
how
have
old
to-
it,
You didn't have to say anything, you just said asterisk.
yeah, you could see how old it is. So I'm surprised y'all haven't requested updating before now, given some of the concerns we have about, you know, the invasion of the systems now. It should have probably been updated long before this.
Have you
Sorry?
found Tyler to be responsive to you when you have issues?
What was the question?
Have you found Tyler to be
Responsive.
responsive to you when you've had issues?
Okay. I'm sorry, for some reason I can't hear him down here.
Okay.
Appreciate you ladies
Thank
and
you.
and your,
Thank
Thank
you.
y'all.
yeah.
That's an internal joke with me and commission.
Yeah, yeah.
She can't hear
It's
anything I
something about
say.
that end of the, even when Steve was here, I couldn't hear. 2009,
You see
Jesus.
a little speaker box right here.
Put a tin can, hit a string in a tin can.
Next up is going to be county clerk.
Hey, weren't you here earlier? You don't get any
I'm
second
gonna try
bites.
not to break the mic again.
Yeah.
Go again.
Well, at least you were a good test to get us ready for court
That's
this
right.
morning.
I said I would be the guinea pig.
You know you already have an asterisk, don't you? Just wanted you to know that.
Well, this is actually all gonna be paid for out of records management money, so it's not an increase to the budget.
Yeah.
And then
We love you.
for one year, yes, until this is for our new software, because our current software, we've been having a lot of issues with it. Kind of some things that we discussed this morning with, we had documents and the index just completely disappear. For a time period, it did come back, so there's been some server issues, and our support has significantly gone downhill. So, and our contract is also ending. So this is what we've been looking at switching. So in the implementation year, it would be paid fully out of records management funds. And then moving forward, once we're actually on the new software, we will no longer be paying our current software. We will only be paying the new software, which is already budgeted, which looking at their pricing, it's around the same. So it really shouldn't change as far as the budget goes.
Good,
Okay,
good job.
good job.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for not breaking the mic.
Like you're donating. Next up is going to be county attorney.
It has an asterisk.
Yes, isn't that great?
We need it. In order to do our job, we need a new contract with Axon. Our current contract has expired. We're very happy with Axon. All of our PDs use Axon. So it's kind of the only way that we're able to do our job.
Thank you.
That's short enough for you, Fred?
Yeah, well, that's a good one. I like that deal.
Next is gonna be juvenile administration.
Thank you.
You gave me two. I need to pass it
One
down.
for you to take home.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Judge and Commissioners. If Commissioner Brown says the least I say, the better it'll be, then I just want to tell you that I asked for this last year.
Yes, you did.
It's a, it's a fence around the perimeter of our Juvenile Justice Center. And originally, when this center was designed, there was not a fence around the perimeter. And we've really found that to be a safety and security issue. And in, I believe it's 2024, November, the day after Thanksgiving, we had a young man manage to get out of our center. And basically, it was kind of he got up on the roof. There was someone working on something there. They left the gate open. He got all the way out. If we had had a fence at that time, he would have gone nowhere. He would have been right there where we could have gotten him. There's a liability, of course, when a juvenile leaves. And if he were to hurt someone, or he gets hurt, or she gets hurt, or whatever, then, it's a liability to the county. We are requesting, I don't see the asterisk. There it is. Is there one? Yes. I forgot to look. But anyway, it's $513, $513, $920, anyway. $513,920. I got it now. Anyway, I did put some pictures in there to show you that if you look at where the fence is going to be, I think there's a picture that shows you exactly where it goes. Also, we took some extra pictures to let you know that when you walk by that center around the back of it, you can walk directly up to where the pods are and everything. So again, somebody could walk up, a kid could be out on the rec yard, the enclosed rec yards, and they could talk to them. And, they plan a lot of things with families when they make phone calls. So anyway, we are asking again that we have our perimeter fence. It's very necessary. And do y'all have any questions?
Have you looked to see if there's any grant funding available for this?
I have not.
Well, we have a grant writer, so you might put him to work on it. The county has a grant writer.
Okay,
What's his name?
Who is-
Y'all remember what his name is?
Gentry Woodard.
Yeah, Gentry Woodard is a grant writer.
okay.
I'd call him up and say, hey, Gentry, get to work.
Or find out if there's any available, because
Yeah.
grants are going away.
Okay. Well, this is, I think, a very urgent need.
Yes, I'm surprised
And
you
I-
didn't have one.
Well, yeah, we really do need
Keep
this.
saying no.
I would like to get it this budget year, since last budget year I did request it, and I was asked to wait until this budget year. So anyway, I really think it's an urgent need. I have met with other law enforcement whenever the young men escaped, and that was one of the things that we came up with, along with some other things for safety and security, but a fence was one of the things that we discussed.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Anything else?
Linda.
Thank you.
I'm not 100% sure that this might be part of the master plan, but if we're gonna really look at putting a fence out at the juvenile, we need to look at future expansion on the jail. We also need to look at the property that we're purchasing in that corner, because we don't want to put a fence there and then have to move it again later. And so I do think that it needs to be further investigated. And so I don't know if that could be part of the master plan as well. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
The next up is gonna be road and bridge.
have a few handouts. No asterisks, so I have to talk a lot. Because regardless, I'm probably not getting it right. At least you get to hear me talk.
I can't believe the price of these sheds, that you're wanting. 250,000 for a equipment shed for Kathy Fleming Yard, and then $185,000 shed to cover some sand?
These are
Jingle-lingo.
not your Home Depot sheds.
No, I understand,
Square
but
foot, the square footage also may dictate the size of it, I'm assuming.
golly, that's a lot of money
Just
for a
hand them
little
all to me
metal.
and I'll pass them down.
I know.
Thank you. Oh, two different ones.
Oh, thank you.
Let's first talk about the compact track loader addition. We are asking for an addition of a compact track loader, commonly referred to as a skid steer, along with the attachments and the trailer needed to transport it. This is not a single-purpose piece of equipment. With the brush cutter, grapple rake, auger, and other attachments, one machine can mow behind guardrails, remove trees, brush from ditches, repair erosion areas, spread material, perform small grading projects, and drill holes for mailboxes and guardrail posts. The equipment request supports several maintenance functions that would otherwise require additional equipment or more manual labor. We currently have one skid steer, a 2013 model, with approximately 2,500 hours on it. Road and Bridge maintains over 70 bridges and bridge class culverts throughout the county, in addition to hundreds of miles of roadway and drainage infrastructure. One machine cannot keep up with the guardrail mowing, as well as being available for brush removal, erosion repairs, post-installation, and other projects. Crews in different precincts are having to wait for the same machine instead of completing work concurrently. The financial comparison also favors purchasing. The rental quote for machine and regularly used attachments is $6,616, a lot of sixes, for 4 weeks. 12 rental periods could cost approximately $79,392, and the quote specifically states that rental payments do not apply towards purchase. The purchase price for the machine and attachments is approximately $76,000, with an financial year 27 budget request of $82,000 to include the equipment and the trailer. Purchasing this equipment provides the county with a long-term asset rather than spending nearly the entire purchase price on 1 year of rental. The enclosed cab also protects the operator from flying debris, dust, rain, bees, and ground hornets. Because the machine and trailer can safely be transported with a 3/4-ton pickup, crews can move it directly between projects without waiting for a large haul truck. This addition will reduce delays, improve employee safety, expand preventive maintenance, and allow multiple crews to complete more work at the same time throughout the county. No asterisks, so you have to have me talk about, our projects that I had also asked for last year, FY26, or this current fiscal year that we are in. We are requesting the funding for 3 facilities improvements totaling to $465,000. These projects will protect county equipment and materials, reduce avoidable losses, and improve our ability to respond to routine maintenance and emergency conditions. The first request is $250,000 for an equipment shed at Kathy Fleming Yard. County-owned maintenance equipment, vehicles, and tools are currently exposed to sun, rain, and other weather conditions. Covered storage will reduce deterioration, extend the useful life of these assets, and help ensure that equipment is operational when crews need it. The second request is $185,000 covered sand storage shed at the main yard. This sand is used to treat bridges and other hazardous locations during freezing or slippery conditions. When exposed to rain, the sand absorbs moisture, becomes difficult to load and spread, and may not perform effectively when needed. Keeping it dry will reduce waste and allow crews to respond more quickly during winter weather events. The third request is a $30,000 request for containment walls around the cold mix asphalt stockpile. We were asked whether the concrete K-rail barriers currently used at the 101 site could be repurposed for this project. We evaluated that option, but the barriers appear to be only 3 feet tall, while a containment wall of approximately 6 to 8 feet is needed to adequately hold the stockpile material. Their slope shape also prevents them from being safely and securely stacked to obtain the necessary height. Therefore, repurposing the K-rails would not provide a functional or safe containment system. Properly constructed walls will reduce contamination and material loss, improve loading efficiency, and provide an effective long-term storage arrangement. These are practical investments that protect county assets and materials already purchased with taxpayer funds. We respectfully request for you to consider these projects in this fiscal year.
That was fast. Oh, it died. Now we're gonna go over the current projects, which is not that many, and so by funds, after we go through the current projects and what projects are gonna be rolling to next year, I'm gonna throw up a list of what will be in the proposed budget, and that's where I'm gonna ask if y'all see any priorities that need to be removed or added real quick. Currently, we have Fund 43260. This is one of the debt funds that we received funding for back in June. This new debt is gonna be covering RELIS, which is a rollover budget of $120,000. Leonard Road, $913,000. Bush Wilburn, 5.4. That's the remaining contract that we have with TxDOT, as well as Harvey Road, $459,000. Total budget that would be proposed next year is $6.9 million. Again, this is the debt that was received back in June. Any questions on that one? We can only use it on specific items. The next one is going to be the other debt that we received, $61 million. Portion of it's going to go to county administration remodel, $8.9 million. And then 101 North Annex Building, which is $52 million. This is projects already currently open POs and contracts, so this is the obligated amount that we will be moving for next year. Fund 4500, this is where we transferred capital project funds from the general fund to the capital project. Currently, we have 2504 Kent Street design that's already active, and so that's $330,000. That amount will be rolled because that project will not be completed this year, the design plan. So $330,000 will roll into next year. The purchase of 1003 North Earl Rudder Freeway, $1.8 million. That is the estimated purchase price for that property. I think closing date will be closer to November if it goes through, so that amount will roll into next year. The vehicle replacement last month, already July, there was an agenda item to purchase vehicles for sheriff office patrol units as well as one van, because currently there is a bank opening, and so we can only order vehicles during a certain time, and so the bank for these vehicles were open, and so we went ahead and requested for those vehicles to be purchased.
Will these be 2027s?
I cannot tell you. They're probably 26s. I would have to rely on purchasing. Or
27s?
likely 27s. And so, of course, we had to order them. They will probably not be here until October.
What?
Okay. They're going to be 20-somethings.
You want me to help you get a better deal, Mr. Wonderful?
We always look to utilize our resources to the best.
Okay.
So those units more than likely will not be here until after October, so I'm going to have to roll those funds until next year or their project. The next is going to be radio replacement year 2. This year we purchased the majority of the radio replacements, the BB wax radios for law enforcement, and it was a 2-year project. So year 2 would be rolled $585,000. We are working with with IT currently to see if we could purchase them this year since the money is available this year, so I don't have to worry about the money next year. I'm still waiting on waiting on a status update on that, see if we're able to do it. If not, the money will be there next year. The county administration remodel, of course, we had to have furniture for a wonderful new courtroom that we're gonna have, as well as a training room, so there's $1 million for furniture. The juvenile expansion, we still have some issues over at the juvenile. Y'all approved a contract I think at the last Commissioners Court to complete some work over there, so that's the project that's rolling over. The group club storage design, only $50,000. This project has rolled for several years. This is right since you were talking about the other project of the architectural engineering services for the tax office and the ag. You're talking about pushing that back to the master plan. This is part of that. Do y'all want to push this to include this one into the master plan as well?
Yeah.
I just need.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
let's do
it could be part of the plan, and we can move forward budgeting it closer to that date.
The only issue is the master plan is not advertised.
Oops, sorry.
The scope of work for the master plan has been out. I mean, we're already just a couple of weeks away from getting proposals back on that. So we don't need to be changing the scope too much on exactly what we want to advertise. So, I mean, I don't want to impinge on progress, but we can't continue to change our minds.
Right, so better not to wait for the master plan on that one. Right.
Yeah, go ahead and include it. Okay.
Thank you for that,
Thank
Charles.
you, Charles.
We'll leave it in the budget.
Yeah.
We just have to have the design of the road before we can move forward, and so this might be pushed back another year. This is gonna be the road and bridge building renovations. Of course, we're in progress now, 3.1. That will roll into next year because it will not be completed by September. That is it. You want to go over the proposed, I want to go over the proposed projects real quick, then we'll have a 10-minute break, and then we'll come back for personnel. Sound like a plan?
Sure.
Okay.
Little bit of number, little bitty writing.
And this is where I probably won't be able to see it. Oh, there it goes. Yes. Okay. We're gonna go in order real quick. Commissioners Court, like I said, we have $2 million budgeted for emergency projects for replacement vehicles or bids come above what is already proposed. I normally budget $2 million, nothing more than that. That's going to be rolling. The 2504 Kent Street, currently there's a project for $330,000 that we just discussed. That's going to roll, including additional $10 million for the construction, for the remodel of it. The 1003 North Earl Road Freeway, that is the property we're purchasing, will not close until November, so that's $1.8 million. And then there's been a request for $500,000 for renovations on the inside. The next is going to be 108 San Jacinto property renovations. That is going to be over at Sandy corner, the corner of by the jail. This is $150,000. The next is going to be Precinct 3 Constable. I do not have an amount. I do think that it should be a project. I just don't know what amount should be on there until we get the feasibility study. And so it's going to be $0 until we get that back. Okay? Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
The next is going to be the Commissioners Court project for the architectural engineering services. This has been requested to be pushed back. So there's nothing planned for next year for $300,000. Elections, I am proposing the elections asset tracking system as well as the voter registration system.
Yeah.
The fleet shop, it has been requested to go ahead and purchase all vehicles that have been discussed today. Information technology, I have not updated this list since our discussion. The only two projects that will be in the proposed budget is going to be the patch management as well as the rodeo replacement because it's rolling for year 2 and the vulnerability management system. The next projects are going to be hide. I guess it can hide. Those have been pushed back to future years. The penetration testing, they're going to see if they could go ahead and get that done this year. If not, then I'll request it in his contract services for next year since it is a need. Okay? The associate misdemeanor courtroom AV project has been requested to be removed. The next is going to be the district clerk Tyler Enterprise Jury Manager system. It's in the budget. The next is going to be the county clerk records management cashier system that has been proposed. Granted, first year is going to come out of their county clerk management fund, which is a special fund that they can use. The years after will be a certain percentage based on paper count. Portion of it will come out of their county clerk management fund, and the rest will come out of the general fund. The next is going to be the Axon Attorney Premier contract at $50,000. The county administration building renovation, $1 million, which is rolling from this year's project. The juvenile security perimeter fence and juvenile detention center is not in the proposed budget. And if you see something that you like in the proposed budget, this is the time to hold a discussion. And so if y'all see something that you'd like to add, just please stop me. Juvenile expansion project, it's going to be a total of $400,000. We have to include some attorney fees as well as the project that was approved this last year. So it's a total of $400,000. Group club storage design only $50,000. I need to go ahead and put that you'd like to roll the $50,000 again.
Could that wait on the master plan?
No, he said we'll have the master plan in 2 weeks.
As in the bid coming back from the master plan.
Yeah, we won't have the master plan for some time. But this is a design only, and I'm
This is
wondering,
just a design.
I'm wondering if that couldn't wait on the master plan.
I cannot speak for that.
Here he comes. Here comes the answer man.
Oh,
Also might need to rely on project management as well.
The scope was communicated to the Commissioners Court and discussed heavily, and that specific project was not something that was anticipated because it was already supposed to have been started last year and then this year. And so it was not anticipated that we make that a part of the master plan because it wasn't going to be impactful on future buildings or anything like that. It's already going to be on existing property, already owned. It's on an underutilized space that still allows for expansion on the oil well pad and for full utilization of the property there on Pendleton. And so it was not anticipated that that would be part of, or that any decision-making on that would be dependent on the results of that master plan.
okay.
So it was my understanding that it could still go forward with the design, with the inclusion of that on the circulation around the tax office.
Okay. Thanks, Charles.
Thank you, Charles.
I want to go back to the perimeter fencing, and I don't know if that's you who, the perimeter fencing for the juvenile center.
Yep.
And I know somebody brought up the fact that, we might want to slow it down, if I'm understanding correctly, because if we're going to be doing some additional construction with the new property.
And it might be 5-10 years out. I don't know what the plan is out there, but we do need to look at what, we don't want to put a fence up there and we have to move it again. And so that's something that we do need to look at. I don't know if it has been looked at. We just have to plan better. We don't want to put something up and then 10 years later we have to take it down. And so I do think it might be like, we could put in the budget and then based on, additional eyes on it or additional research, they could come back to Commissioner's Court and see if it needs to be done.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Or we have contingency as well. Okay? Okay,
We'll come back to that one.
let me see where I'm at. Oh, I was gonna come back over here. Okay, any more discussion on the group club storage building? Oh, too much. The next is gonna be the road and bridge renovation that we're already on, under contract 3.1. Road and Bridges projects, additional compact track loader, $71,500, and trailer, $10,299. What are your thoughts about this? There's a good argument regarding rental. What can happen is we could purchase equipment, the rental costs and operations can go down in the same amount.
One of the biggest calls I get this time of year in precinct 2 is mowing. Our mowing contractors are, of course, challenged with weather. Road and Bridge is awesome at working with me on priority mowing, as in safety concern, lack of visibility, that sort of thing. But we do get a lot of, the guardrail areas and small trees growing in the ditches. Of course, taking care of those sooner than later preserves our ditches, and we also have utilities in some cases run along those. So I think with the growth of the county and I think that's going to complement our contracted mowing services, make us more responsive to be able to handle things quicker. For me, it's a safety visibility thing. It's not of our roadways. And if this will help us accomplish that with all the different implements that can be utilized, and it helps Road and Bridge be very responsive, and we have an old, aging piece of equipment already, I would like to see us invest in this and have Road and Bridge be able to be more responsive with this tool.
I agree.
Good, yeah, let's do that.
Yep.
No sheds.
Yep.
No sheds,
No sheds?
no sheds.
Okay, so no equipment shed at Kathy Fleming. This would be in precinct 1. Do you have any concerns, Commissioner? I don't know. I had never been out there. I couldn't tell you. I do need to make a trip out there. Shed to cover sand in main yard, and then walls for the coal mix stockpile.
There's just so many things that
Oops, where did it go?
are needed for, the mission of the county. It's just the money can only go so far. And I think these are certainly a benefit, but I just can't see spending that much money on those right now.
Okay. Once it pops up to be bigger, I can read what the proposed amount is, but I can't read it.
What, I'm hearing somebody, what are you saying?
Oh, there it goes. Okay, so currently they're in the proposed budget for capital is 21 million. Right now, I have 9.5 that is in fund balance for general capital. And so that's already sitting there. I will have to transfer from the current fund balance, the general fund balance, 11.9. Okay. Do I have any questions regarding what it will be in the proposed budget?
No.
Again, this is using fund balance. This is not using additional revenue from the taxpayers. This is using fund balance.
Looks good.
Okay, I will request a 10-minute break. Let us go, take a little breather, and then we'll hit personnel here shortly. Sound good?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Nina.
Thank you.
All right. We're ready to start again?
Because the court is,
All right.
can the assistant budget officer take over?
Welcome back. We're at the very end of this first presentation. We're going to discuss personnel. Do you mind going to the PowerPoint first? Yeah, please. Every single year, I have to propose elected officials' annual salary based on local government code 152-013. Here shortly, I want to show you what the proposed elected official salaries are going to be. Currently, there's no pay increases to elected officials' salaries. The only thing that will increase is if they have longevity. On Commissioners Court will propose elected official salary on August 18th, 2026. On that same date, I will send out letters of their salaries, so the grievance period will start. Again, this will be proposed on August 18th, 2026 at a normal Commissioners Court. So if you want to go ahead and throw up the PDF. Also in your packet is the same sheet showing the elected official salaries. Do y'all have any questions here? Going once, going twice. Like I said, the only thing that has changed is if they receive longevity based on the years of services, and that's the only thing that's changed. I have not had recommendations on salary increases for the elected officials, and so they're going to stay the same as of this year. Okay?
Okay.
August 18th, I will propose the year salaries, and they will receive the letters for the countdown. You can go ahead and move to the PowerPoint. The first step is going to be the county judge administration. There is a personnel change to change title for the chief of staff legal officer to the county manager. Current with that change, it's just a title. It's zero increase to the budget. Do y'all have any questions on that?
No.
Okay. The next is going to be veteran services personnel change. This is the administrative assistant going from part-time to full-time. I think has been discussed previous in some other discussions. The total cost is going to be $61,725 for both salary and benefits, and it does meet the new salary range structure mid-rate. And so moving forward in all these discussions, all the rates are going to be on the new salary range, budget at the mid-rate.
So it says assistant veteran service officer, are they gonna be able to do the VSO job?
Right.
Or get the certificates?
Correct, because
We're
the
not adding
title.
another person, right?
No, we're not adding
No
another
room
person.
for them to sit over there.
No,
So-
no, and they are they're so busy. The reason it's a title change is they can only get certain, I think, certifications in order to get into the system, and so this will allow them to get into the system. And plus, it goes from part-time to full-time. Okay, to help them in that situation. Again, if you have the asterisks, this is what I'm proposing in the budget. The next up is going to be facility services. I'm going to go ahead and let the director to explain this position.
Bob Lampkin, Facility Services Director. This position, we're looking for an unfunded position. So currently, we've had issues hiring qualified staff from out in the county, and just recruiting people. The most recent position that we were talking about this morning in court was out there for 9 months. We had 2 qualified applicants that applied in that 9 months. So again, it's been hard for us to get people that meet our requirements and the needs to service the county. And so the proposal is to create an unfunded position that if we can't find somebody qualified, maybe we find somebody that's 80 or 90%, we create basically an apprentice program. I'll use apprentice loosely, but we'll create a program we can bring them in as a general maintenance tech, so a lower paying position, allow them to gain the skills they need through a program, and then move them into the position. So we take the money from the funded position, use it for the general maintenance tech position. Once they become qualified, we would move them back to that trade position, so either plumber, electrician, HVAC, something like that. So again, it's not looking for an additional headcount. It's looking to be able to reallocate money to create an apprentice program. Again, that could be from internal within the county. It could also be, from the outside. All of our positions we post, both internal and external. So again, if there's somebody inside that we could develop, we'd look for that as well.
But you did have a number of people apply for the job, but you only found 2 out of the,
Yeah, out of the one, for the one this morning, currently we have an electrician position out there that's been posted since April. We have not had a single qualified applicant that would meet, the current standards and requirements of the position. We did just do this recently on our general maintenance tech position that we had open from last fall. That person was they floated and helped and were an extra hand to help with all the trades. We realized we had a gap on our, on our jail tech or position that we were exposed. We had a personnel that was out with some family medical issues, and we realized that could be up to half a year. And when we did that, we realized, okay, we've got 2 jail techs, and all of a sudden we're down to 1. What do we do with that? And so we brought the general maintenance tech in. That person's been working with the jail techs for the last 4 months. We just had a jail tech whose last day was yesterday. So we're kind of testing that program now. We brought somebody in. We've got them 4 months in this general maintenance position, and our goal is to continue to develop them and then move them into that jail tech job.
Yeah.
So again, just a plan to be able to plan for the future, knowing that we can't always get the skill set we need, but be able to develop that internally and then promote them from within.
okay, thank you.
Thanks for your leadership.
As we're holding these discussions, I want to remind everybody that every single minute the budget is revolving. Things have come up. We're still researching. We're still looking at items, how we can make things work. I do think this is a priority. And so when we get to the final review this afternoon, keep that in mind that I do believe that this is a priority, and I do think that it should be in the proposed budget.
Okay.
The next is going to be District Attorney Jarvis.
Good afternoon. This one is just a personnel change. We have an investigative assistant. We have been paying out of our own budget, separate from the general budget, operations budget, $22,000 a year for the last 6 years out of our crime fund. This person does discovery, so the 4 million pieces of evidence that we have to ensure, digital pieces of evidence to ensure compliance with the Michael Morton Act to get to defendants, so the state and or the county does not get sued for wrongful convictions. This person helps with that. And that deals with suppression of evidence, dismissal of entire cases. It allows us to keep growing, and it also, we are training this person to be an expert as well in cell phone evidence. So just a little bit of a primer on that. Each cell phone that we do, we usually review about anywhere between 10 up to a max of about 30 to 40 cell phones per month, where we are analyzing those cases. This person is going to be trained to do that, to try to lift the burden off of our cell phone examiners. Each one of those extractions would cost us on the market anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500 for the extraction, along with about $5,000 to $10,000 for the analysis, and then another $3,500 minimum for court preparation of testimony. So about $80,000 to $200,000 a year could be saved with this person right here coming in. So while that $22,000 would go into the general budget, we think that there'll be savings on the other side of that. And so that's what we're asking for in that particular area. And I hope that qualifies as brief.
Qualifies as what?
Brief.
Well, you already had an asterisk.
Yeah, Nina, is
You
that
already
your
had an
asterisk
asterisk.
or is that Jarvis's?
I put it on there. No, I'm just kidding.
Jarvis has a little asterisk stamp.
His technical person hacked into my system and put it there. The next is this one's something simple. The district attorney does have a crime fund. Currently, there is a full-time position as well as a clerk position. He's requesting those to be deleted. Has no effect to the general fund, but it does relinquish some funds in his crime fund. So I just want to let you know that there's 2 positions being deleted. Got it? And there's an asterisk. Okay, next up is going to be District Clerk Administration. They're asking to delete to create, and there's going to be 2 parts to this. One's going to be the general fund request, and next is going to be a District Clerk Management request, which is special funds. I want to ask them to come up.
Hi. So we were going to request a 30-hour position that we had in general budget, but we were requesting to delete that one. We have one that's being paid out of our records management fund. and that one is a 20-hour. We would like to increase that one to a 40-hour. The person this position would assist in the courts. We already go to the courts, but when someone's out or they're busy with something else, we don't have anyone to fill in.
Sure.
And Judge Hawthorne is here to, if y'all have questions about the need for a person into the court, but that's what we're requesting to do, and that would be paid out of the records management, which is already budgeted. We already have that one position, just to increase it. Y'all have any questions?
Good job.
Yep, good explanation,
Is
thank
this,
you.
is this an asterisk one?
Yeah.
It will be.
Okay.
I'm
gotcha.
standing in as the district clerk. If y'all have got any questions.
Nice job.
Yeah, good job. As good a job. How about that? Any questions? These people are vital in our courtroom. I think we're the only county in the state that doesn't have deputy clerks in the courtrooms. Don't hold me to that, but back when I started, 8 years ago, I requested that this be done. I think we got our first in the courtroom in about September of 25, October, somewhere around there. And that was in one of the magistrate courts. Didn't make it to the district clerks till the district courts till first of this year. I've got this philosophy. When I came into work, we were trying to get everything filed by email and go paperless. And the only way that worked is if everybody did their jobs and their job descriptions. We still hadn't achieved that because of issues with the district clerk's office at this time, that we've got other people doing all sorts of jobs, just as you heard this morning on the Expo Center. Same thing's happening. I mean, we've got people that are doing jobs that they're not supposed to be doing. That leads to accountability problems because, okay, who are you going to hold accountable if they're doing other people's jobs they're not supposed to be doing, but they're the ones that messed up? You're going to have accountability problems. Clerks in the district courts clear that up because they are there watching it happen and getting it done then, and allowing my court coordinator and the other court coordinators to do their jobs versus having to do a clerk's job or something else that's related to the court. So these people are vital in the courtrooms.
I appreciate your big brotherness to that team, and I appreciate that team's continued focus. There are lots of things.
Yeah, it's certainly not these ladies or these people's problems.
Right.
Clearly. They are the, what I call, you get a football team and a coach puts it together, but somebody's got to execute the plan.
Yeah.
They're executing somebody's plan.
Right.
What it is, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all saying the same thing. Thank y'all for your focus and professionalism.
Any questions?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
That will be an asterisk.
Okay.
It's going to be this one, the Records Management Fund. So currently they do have a part-time position that will go full-time. And like I said, it's not a general fund position. It will be a special revenue position. Okay. The next up is going to be Felony Associate Judge Juvenile Court. They're asking for an additional pay increase to a supplement. Judge Swan?
Good afternoon.
Hi.
So, some of you may recall, I was here last year asking for Miss Luna to have an additional stipend. The current stipend is $3,500. That was 19 years ago when that went into effect. So what I did is I included with a packet that I provided you what the fees that we are currently using in other district courts for certified translators. And it ranges anywhere from about $325 for a half day plus travel up to around $450 for a half day. So I had Miss Luna document the hours that she is translating. And juvenile is very specialized field. What happens is essentially I have to have a juvenile translator that is certified 3 days a week because I never know who is coming into my courtroom. Every 48 hours, If someone's arrested, I have to see them. Don't know if a parent, a guardian, a child's gonna need that translator. Miss Luna does that. She is the only certified translator currently in Brazos County. She has been translating for me and is essential and makes my job so much easier rather than me having to wait around and try to find a translator on my own. She has no secretary, so she's also doing a lot of secretarial duties that other court coordinators are not doing. To put it into perspective, if we are just saying I need her 3 days a week for those detention hearings, that's not including the days that I have full-day contested hearings. We've got 52 weeks in a year, 3 days a week. If we are paying her 1/4 of what we are paying other translators who are out of county to come into our county, we're looking at $16,600. So I don't think that I'm asking for anything unreasonable, and I would request that that stipend be granted. It's currently not included in the budget. And if you guys have any questions, all the numbers are in front of you with regard to the days she's translated, as well as the current fees for those other translators that we're using from out of county.
Okay.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
I will rely on HR. I do think that we're still waiting for the Siegel study to give us ideas for additional supplements throughout the county, and that's part of the study. And so Siegel will bring us some information on how to implement additional supplements or stipends for certain positions.
So if it's outside of the range of what they recommend, we can't suggest or recommend or request?
You can, but I
you
do
can.
think that we need to wait to see what Siegel says as well. And so we're still waiting for that feedback.
I anxiously await that feedback, and I would definitely champion this moving forward.
And then that's what my,
Yeah,
so,
me too.
so
Absolutely.
if Siegel, I mean, we're in a kind of a conundrum because
We are.
we're waiting for this, we're waiting for that, yet the need is now.
Correct. No, I agree 100%. I just, I have to give you all the information, all the information, so.
But when you say that, and then if it's, that's not built into it right now,
No, but that doesn't mean we can't build into it once we get the study back.
I know, but will
So.
the study be back by the time we need to approve the budget? We don't know that.
No, but we could adjust as we go throughout the year as
Right.
well.
That it might be after budgets move forward.
know.
An adjustment.
We could still adjust in October, November. If we get this information back in the next couple weeks or in August or September, we can still adjust how we operate throughout the year. I have money set aside for when the study is 100% completed to make adjustments if we need to moving forward. And that's part of the, say for instance, future merit or stipends or supplements, because we want to make this county better. We want to make sure that we're able to implement some things.
But I guess my concern is if the supplement, if the recommendation comes back lower,
Then we'll adjust it to what the court recommends.
okay.
I do think we should have a basis on what we're paying for this third party to help us establish something. I do think we should have some information back. But this is your budget, y'all can adopt it how you see fit. I just want to make sure that we have all the information for you to make that decision.
We've had several decisions where we've said, let's wait on the study,
Agreed. And
So
it's
on the
keep
one
on-
hand, I don't want to do a precedent and do a one-off, but on the other hand, I would
Agree.
love to see Miss Luna taken care of for her devoted service.
Right.
So, and then just remind everybody, Kyle Greenwood speaks Spanish, so we can rope him in and,
I have spoke with some of the district judges as well. I do think that we need to have a position that is a floating translator. That's because they have to be certified. For juvenile, they have to be certified. You just can't have a translator just to translate. You do have to be certified. I have spoke to Judge Swan as well as some of the district judges to see if that would be beneficial to where if Judge Swan knows that you have a full-time position or a court scheduled for Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and Miss Luna is out, you can schedule this court coordinator to come in and translate. And so that's something that's been in the works and probably will be brought to you in 28 because it was kind of late during the summer when I started this discussion. I do think that it's healthy for the court to have a certified translator to help
Absolutely
all
it is.
departments, not just, certain departments.
Right.
Or if an employee does get an additional certification to, reward them with that.
Right. But as we grow, and we're already running into that, the need is so great. will we be able to do it, or does it delay the judicial process because we don't have enough, because we're counting on a floating translator?
Well, no, and I don't know what the best solution is. It's just trying to figure out what we can do to help make the situation better at this moment. It's hard to sit there and create 5 new positions to help translating because we do have a third party that helps. It might not help Judge Swan. It does help other areas.
Yeah,
And
so we don't already have additional translators that help out in other courts?
They're not certified like Miss Luna because they have to be very specific. They have to have a certification to translate.
Right.
Now, we do have a third party that they can call and phone in for a translator.
Right, I knew that, yeah.
And I do know that we have employees that are able to translate. Now, when you go on for the record, you have to be certified, correct?
Right.
Right.
The other translators that we're using in district courts.
Judge, if you would, just so people at home can hear you.
Yes, sir. So the other translators that we are using, they are from out of county. They are certified translators. We're just paying them on average $400 for a half day, $800 for a full day. But again, and I have spoke with Nina about a rotating translator, but you're going to be paying, she is saving the county just with me $50,000, $60,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
You hire someone that is a rotating translator, which I'm not saying I don't support that, but I can't essentially pull certain days and set times that I need that translator in my court. They would have to be with me Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you would be paying, and I don't know that you could find one. Quite frankly, in this county, we have a shortage, unfortunately, of certified translators.
Right.
I think
That's the part I'm making in terms of availability.
Yes.
And from the needs that I'm hearing
Judge,
that
I
we
think
have.
it sounds like we're gonna figure out a way to get that taken care of.
Yeah.
No,
Yes,
thank you
right,
for your
right.
advocacy.
And I do think it should be a system for us to be able to help establish some sort of system regarding translators or additional supplements to help CDL license or something to benefit for those applicants as well.
Right. Because what I'm seeing is we also have staff members who it's not as critical in terms of requirements and certification requirements for the courts, but there are needs in other areas where there needs to be translation. And so right now we have, again, staff members where their job is this, but because they speak Spanish, they're helping out.
Right, and it's
So
Mandarin.
it's the same, yeah, so we have so many, in many areas where people are they're serving dual roles in so many areas to help the county run.
Exactly.
And so,
And I think 2 years ago, I looked at the top translating, it was Mandarin, and so it fluctuates every year with the different types of languages. And so, yes, if this is, at the end of this whole discussion, if this is something that's party to the court, then we'll put in the proposed budget.
Please do, yes.
it's sort of necessary.
The next is going to be associate court. This has been discussed with Hilburn and I, as well as some of the members of the court, is to establish a new associate court. And this is where I'd like Judge Hilburn to come up and start the discussion. The request is to have a new felony judge as well as a felony bailiff.
Is this new court being mandated by the, it's not?
No.
It's just a necessary?
Correct. Where we're at right now is we have Judge Swan currently is paid in 2 funds. One is half from felony magistrate and half as the juvenile referee. Time-wise, in reality, she spends about 70% of that time as the juvenile referee and about 30% of the time as the felony magistrate. What our proposal is to create a new felony magistrate full-time position, allow Judge Swan to go full-time as the juvenile referee, and then in the new felony magistrate position, take over those felony magistration duties as well as taking over the specialty courts. I've talked to Judge Zachary, who handles the specialty court related to drugs, and I handle the specialty courts related to mental health, to help alleviate and consolidate those under one judge, moving both of those under the felony magistrate position. Along with that, creating the bailiff position to help during all court settings under that judge. And felony magistrate, where currently Constable Lampo handles magistration duties, bailiff duties during that court. And then Judge Zachary's bailiff handles the bailiff during drug court, and my bailiff handles the bailiff during mental health court. Obviously, if this were created, it would allow Judge Zachary's bailiff to stay with her in her court during whatever duties she currently has, which she can help expand her misdemeanor associate court duties, and my bailiff can stay with me in the 361st doing whatever we have on the docket that morning.
Could you repeat all that?
Sure.
So
It's
would
very clear in my head, I'll tell you that.
So the growth of
I
the
actually
court is
followed through
is the growth of the county and the growth of the need is requiring us to create these opportunities and fund these opportunities in order for you all to be efficient.
That's my
And
belief, yes.
and to manage your load that is overwhelming everybody right now.
Correct. Judge Matsky took the time to go through and made a chart explaining when each court was made. In the last 40 years, we have created one new county or district court. The 472nd was created 3 years ago. Before that, the most recent court was County Court 2 in 1986. In between that time, though, the court has created the associate court for misdemeanors, the associate court half-time for felonies, the associate court half-time for juveniles, and the family court, which obviously helps alleviate a lot of the issues that we have on the county court and district court dockets. But again, as we continue to grow and expand, we see the need to alleviate some of the time and energy that can be spent best in other opportunities.
Judge, you got asterisks by both the associate judge and the bailiff, but then there's 25,000 in operations that I guess are not included in that, so we'll need to include that.
There's an asterisk on the bottom down there. It's on there.
There's an asterisk, yes.
It just toggled down.
Just didn't fit on the line.
That's
Oh, yeah,
include
it's down the line.
startup
Okay,
costs.
never mind, you got it.
I would be to include startup costs. I don't know if they're gonna need a robe, they're gonna need a copier. I don't know exactly what they will need until we really get this into the proposed budget. Once everything's proposed and set off to, and follow with the county clerk, I have asked Judge Shelburne to start working his magic as well as project management, all HR, so we could start getting it on the ground and running come October. And I could create some sort of ordering system so we can make sure that judge has whatever they need coming in on first day. Let it be a desk, chair, whatever. Okay.
And so I know we talked just a little about where they would be housed in there because we're pretty tight over there, so you might.
So the good part for this court right now, at least, is the space is already available because if Judge Swan goes full-time out to the Juvenile Justice Center, the current courtroom she operates on the second floor of the courthouse is still available for felony magistrate. There is a judge's chambers back there. There's not a whole lot of room right now because behind that, where it used to be court staff operations, now the guardianship offices are. However, right now, all we need is room for the bailiff. The bailiff can really office in the courtroom because that's where they are when court's open, and when they're not open, that can be their office. So I think in the short term, we're good there. The coordinator spot for this position is going to be grant funded for the specialty courts right now. Bobby Baker is in that position, and he's housed with probation right now. So down the road, we may need to move some things around, but in the short term, we're in a great spot with a courtroom that's ready to go.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks for going through all that, Judge.
Well, and I do want to thank Judge Matsky and Judge Zachary for all their help. They helped push all that
Yes.
through. That's a big help.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
I can. In this discussion, I want to just broach the topic of needs, future needs. We've talked about, we just created a new district court 3 years ago. We see our next need as a new county court of law. One possibility that I think is a good idea, if this court saw that need and were to pass a resolution that that is a need for the county and requesting the legislator, which is necessary to create that county court of law, pass that resolution, ask Representative Dyson to push forward that legislation. My thought is have this court pass that resolution, ask that court to be created as County Court of Law number 3 to become effective January 1 of 2029. What that does, if that were to happen, if it were to be created, it allows us as a county to properly budget and plan for the creation of a new court almost 3 years from now. That position would be an elected position, obviously. Could be on the ballot in 2028, which would then allow for the citizens to select that person who would run that spot. Obviously, you're looking down that road of where do you house them. That's why we're not waiting until January 2029 to consider that operation. But I think for future growth, for planning purposes, it's important to start talking about that now, because if we wait a year from now, we couldn't create that until the legislative session of 2029. And so now you're already pushing it back at least 6 months. So, and then you're looking at planning and what if the legislature doesn't create it? Now we have a need that we can't use what we need because the legislature won't, for whatever reason, they don't want to do what we ask them to do because they don't have to do it. Any questions about that or my thought process there?
So I guess it would be a matter of how do we make that, put that in writing to make, start thinking about making that request now? If there's
I
going to
believe
be a
the
need to
court,
go forward.
the court passed a resolution before the 472nd was created.
Okay.
And I think it's just we need the wording of that's very important on what we're asking for, what its duties would be,
That was before my
and
time.
when the creation and the start of the court would be. And I think we need to look at that very closely before we pass that along, so we make sure we're asking the right things and to fit the county's needs.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then he'll take it to the ledge council and they'll write it up.
Right.
So nobody can understand it except you and
That's
the
also
rest of the
correct.
attorneys.
We'd interpret it.
So-
We'd be able to interpret it as
So,
judges.
so it's
Yeah.
an agenda item on a future meeting that we would
Okay.
need your help wording
Right.
and your help understanding what kind of dollars we might be looking at for the
And that was before
board
my,
at that.
yeah.
Unfunded, since we're asking for it, I just want everybody to know, since we're asking for it, this would be really unfunded mandate, right? So this is something that we'll go out, ask for it, and hopefully it would be passed in the future, so.
Okay.
And it's about planning, right? That gives us enough time to make sure we have enough space, if you have to renovate. Is the time coming for us to have another CCL? Yes, we just want to be proactive. And I think that's what the court has asked for the staff to really evaluate, looking far enough in the future so it could be prepared. Granted, we need it 472nd, but it hit us like in Brixton, we had to scramble, knowing that it was coming very short, and we had to scramble to make sure we had the location, everything was ready to go, as well as funding.
Okay.
So it's something wise, and
Yeah.
if this is something that the court would like to move forward,
Right.
we could probably have an order, probably in the next month or so, no later than October, that way Dyson can come in and take it to the ledge.
Well, the day of the election, the following day, seated members can go ahead and have bills set up right then.
Yeah.
So the quicker we can get it done, the better, because it's those early numbers that get listened to. It's the late numbers that get thrown in the trash. So,
Well, if this is something
And-
that you're wanting the staff and us to go ahead and push forward, give us a little bit
We
to.
typically have a written request for agenda item. Judge, are you
Yeah.
okay with?
Yeah, because that's what
So
I was.
let's get this on the agenda.
Right,
Judge, if you'll help with wording,
right.
let's do it so we can take advantage of this ledge it's about to hit. And
Judge, if it passes out of committee, then we want to make sure it goes to local and consent, because it's really just our area that this is taken care of.
Well,
So,
I did talk to Representative Dyson about it, and he mentioned he's gonna talk to Jeff Leacham, who does the judicial omnibus bill.
yes.
And obviously, my understanding of how that works is from the legislature, if it's in the omnibus bill, it's all the judicial requests that are kind of consent go into that and are very likely to pass, as opposed to individual standalones that may need some massaging.
But it's good to have two bills, just in case one doesn't go
Fails.
anywhere, yeah.
That makes
So,
sense.
Yeah,
I'll double check with Paul on that.
I've seen that happen a lot of times.
I bet.
Okay.
Okay.
And I do remember it, I was newly elected, and I remember the scramble in the 472nd, all of a sudden, the court that was scrambling to make sure, for facilities and staff and funding and all of that. So thank you for recommending that we prepare now for, further down, down the road, and getting it on the legislative docket, I guess, is that the word terminology, now, so we can be prepared in the future, next 3-4 years.
Anything else?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate
we
your time.
probably wouldn't want to limit it to probate and guardianship, but Judge Maskey can probably speak to that. I think there's probably a good need for someone that would lean that direction, and
I agree with you. I don't think it should be limited as it's created to probate and guardianship. I think we're better served with CCLs. Their intended purpose was always to come in and be created for whatever purpose the county actually needed at the time. So I think it's better to create a general jurisdiction, CCL, and then by local rules, as we've done with the family court, we can shift those responsibilities around. I think it probably would be better with the number of guardianship and probate cases that we have, to have those cases in one court and for administrative purposes as well. And just as an aside, since it was brought up, we do already have all of the staff in place for probate and guardianship. So really, as far as creation of a new court, it would be only the judge position that would really be needed, potentially a bailiff, but
That's good news.
so cost-wise, it would be limited.
That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, Judge.
We're making things happen. It's exciting now. Next is going to be misdemeanor associate court. There's going to be a part 1 and part 2. The first one's to delete to create a court coordinator for retitlement. And then the second one's going to be increasing in a bailiff. I will ask for Judge to come up.
I saw you walking away. I was like, no, you Good afternoon. My request is 2 parts. One, I have a coordinator that has worked with me for 22 years. I'm not trying to circumvent the salary survey that was completed, but I do want to point out that it did not take into consideration some meaningful differences that there are in duties among bailiffs and coordinators, some of their responsibilities and experience. For instance, my coordinator is actually an indigent defense coordinator. So she's required to look at every magistrate warning that goes through the system. We're required to rule on those. People come in throughout the day to apply for court-appointed attorneys. She's responsible for that. We receive requests from out of county. We're required to rule on those requests for court-appointed attorney. That has to be done within 72 hours of the request being made. As the county grows, that will turn into 24 hours. It's kind of doesn't make sense, but it's a lot of documents to look at every day and make sure you're making the correct rulings. If we do not comply with those terms, the county can lose their TIDC grant funding. She also keeps up with other terms of the indigent defense program, making sure that the attorneys turn in their CLE every year as they're supposed to, and any other documentation that they're supposed to report. She is also the secretary of the office. She also handles all the budget. She's been with me for 22 years, and she makes substantially lower than the other coordinators. Some have been with the county less than 5 years. I'm going to cut this short. I'm requesting her to be paid at the same level as another coordinator that's been here for 20 years. So I am asking her salary to increase from $72,143 to $85,500, and I do believe that's still within the means of the new salary study. It's just the upper amount. Secondly, my bailiff. I think it would be great if you had an office where people didn't have to do additional duties, but that's not how my office functions. If everyone was not cross-trained in my office, things would not get done timely, and we would potentially put county grants at risk. We would potentially put people's liberties at risk. I run the indigent defense program, recovery court. I do my court duties. We have court Monday through Thursday. Our dockets do not get canceled. My bailiff has to be there for court the whole time. When he's not in court, he's performing coordinator duties. He actually sets cases. He actually sees that all the paperwork's gone through, walked through. He also knows how to do appointments. He's been taking care of that. And he helps with making sure that certain things with IT that need to be published to the public are done timely. Essentially, he has been taking care of many more duties than he is responsible for, and that's how my office has to operate to be efficient. I am requesting, because currently he is the senior bailiff. He's been with me for more than 20 years. He is the next to the lowest paid bailiff in the county. I'm asking that he be raised to the same level as the highest paid bailiff, who has been here less time than him. I'm asking for his salary to go from $66,973 to $77,681. I will point out that he is the newly elected district clerk, So that would only affect the county for, I think, 2 to 3 months. And I do understand that the new bailiff would come in under a different means. So, any questions?
But you would be void of the duties that this person currently performs for you. So there would be that void in the operation of your
Yes.
area.
Yes. I may have to come back and make other requests to commissioners because of that, because I will need that bailiff to be cross-trained.
So I do have a question, not for you, Judge Zachary,
Sure.
but maybe HR. Why do we have such disparity here with the court coordinators? The associate court coordinator looks to be making about what our JP court coordinators make.
That's exactly what we were looking at right now, looking at all the different court coordinators. It looks like
Does some of it have to do with the step group thing and the
merit.
cost of living raises and merits and things like that?
Absolutely. The different levels of court coordinators have kind of just always been there. You know, district court coordinators tend to make more than a JP court coordinator does, and then everyone else kind of falls in between. But yes, merit over the years on the position definitely outweighs some of them more than others.
But the new compensation study, bumping this coordinator would still be within the
It would
parameters?
actually be about $500 over the proposed max, but it's really close. And I was actually just telling Ray right now, I mean, someone who's been here 20 years, who has great performance, should be at the max. So it makes sense. But we just haven't been able to do that part of the study yet.
Okay.
And the max is 85,354.
Okay, I knew I was going. Go ahead.
And regarding budgeting aspect, I know that we're budgeting at the midpoint. She can still, it won't be a budget change because I would not budget at the max. She can still come ask for the additional increase as in October as a change to a personal action form. And y'all could grant her the increase then. It's just the max, I will not budget at the max. We're gonna budget at the mid. And so if they're in that range, they can still come and ask Commissioners Court for additional services.
After the approval of the budget or before that? Okay.
Right, because it comes with the budget amendment, right? And so you're gonna have to agree to fund that coming out of contingency moving forward. Now, if that person leaves, say, for instance, the bailiff is gonna go to the district clerk, that position set at the medium rate. And so, when they hire in, she has that range, and then the additional costs go away. So it's just something for the court to consider, that moving forward, you'll have to do budget amendments to cover for the additional services. They're in that range, it's just up to y'all to do the budget amendment. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for me?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
I hope I made sense. Did I make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm tired. Family Associate Court, there is a personnel request change to increase this position, and let's see if, she's on vacation. She's gonna discuss this when she comes back on next Tuesday during her operations. But it's the same thing. She wants the court coordinator to be bumped up from $37.35 to $43.34, which is above the recommended salary study. Okay? I'll allow her to come in during that time to explain that. The next is gonna be Justice of the Peace Precinct 1. They're asking for a new position, and does Judge here? I do not see Justice of the Peace Precinct 1.
So I guess that means they don't get it, right?
Okay. It was not in looking at the data that I have, I want to remind everybody that when I'm reviewing all these requests, I review data. They have to submit caseload, they have to submit their daily interactions, they have to submit so much stuff to justify for their requests. And if it's not there, it's hard for me to come to the court to propose it. So everything that's submitted is data driven. The next is going to be Justice of the Peace Precinct 4.
As you're talking about that, I guess my question is, are they raising the position, or is there someone in this position that they want to?
No, it's a new position. They want to add. JP Precinct 1 wants a new clerk, new position.
Oh, create a position, okay, and pay, and that the starting salary be this?
That is the start, no, that's the mid. Remember, budgeting at the mid, so they could budget from, you could hire from a $0 up to 69.
The 69 is mid?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, that's with benefits, sorry. The mid's gonna be, $19.30.
So 40,000 is the mid, okay,
Yes.
gotcha,
Sorry about that.
okay.
The next is gonna be Justice of the Peace Precinct 4. Did I see him? No. This, he's asking for the same thing, court coordinator to be increased from $29.17 to $33.01. Again, it's above and beyond what the salary structure is for that range. Without that, I'm going from what Commissioners Court has recommended on the salary study, and so this is beyond the request.
So the mid is
I'm sorry.
28?
Yes, the mid is $28. Okay. The next is gonna be Sheriff's Office. They would like to create a position. I don't know who, are you gonna speak?
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners. Lieutenant Garrett House with the Sheriff's Office. This position is very simple. This is a deputy-only position. We are not requesting any associated equipment or any of that stuff. This position is going to be assigned to registered sex offenders. So their job is going to be to take registered sex offenders who can't be compliant off the streets and to ensure compliance of the rest of them.
Good. And there's an asterisk there, so.
Yes. You want me to talk about that? So it's also because of the way that we're handling right now is we are dealing with that those things are mostly being done by a clerk who cannot pursue their own charges and all that stuff. So then they have to involve about a dozen other deputies spread out depending on who's available at the time. That clerk position is going to get transferred to records, which increases our capacity for open records requests. So we're planning on taking on some additional county responsibilities with that extra capacity.
They're gonna continue taking on 911 open records requests.
The 911 requests, yeah.
Currently,
Which-
our clerk upstairs, she does open records requests, sorry.
Nope,
Does
you're
all
good.
911 open records requests, and so, based on the sheriff's office, and so we're gonna push, not we, court, whoever, is gonna push that duty back onto the sheriff's office, since it's their cases, they'll continue to do the open records requests based on 911, and not the county judge's position.
So the new position would start at the mid,
Yes.
as opposed to
Well-
entry
No, that's the max. The position would be budgeted at the
mid?
They can start at $0 to.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that position would work.
Still
on
trying
the
to
career
adjust to
advance.
this mid, middle,
You're good.
lower.
And no equipment, no vehicle.
Nothing. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Currently, the last, I think, 3 years, there was a grant, BV Human Trafficking Task Force grant. There was 2 investigators. The grant has went away. Those positions go away as well. So 2 positions deleted from the grant. They have applied for it again. There has been some issues at the Fed level regarding some lawsuits, I guess. And so we're waiting to hear back on this grant. Once the grant is awarded, then we could create those positions again, but there's no funding left for this grant, so those positions are deleted. The people in those positions have either retired or moved on to a different position. Okay, so 2 positions are deleted. The next is gonna be jail correction medicine. This is gonna be 2 parts. They're restructuring. No new positions, but it's gonna be restructuring based on the need for the positions, and this is where I'm gonna ask Julie to come up and explain.
And because we have an asterisk, I'm going to keep this quick. In budget year 24-25,
God bless you.
we had a wonderful, small medical department that ran the jail. And our sheriff wanted a more robust, and so in 25-26, with your support and your direction and the direction of the jail, you guys were kind enough to give us that leadership and that money. So I'm also here to give you some good reports with the stewardship that you've allowed me to oversee. With the additional funds that we received this year that are reflected in that number, I believe this was the first time that we received 100% on our pharmacy inspection. And recently, we were inspected by the Jail Commission, and of the 20 charts that were audited for medical, they all passed, and some automation that you also approved some funding for. All 20 charts had that automated where things left booking and automatically went into our electronic medical record. That is a huge cost savings because before this, we were paying somebody an hourly rate to do that job. And that has now been streamlined with the help of IT, the Sheriff's Department, and our own clinic staff. So I'm just here really to say thank you, let you know that I always want to be a good steward of what you've tasked all of us to do. And I think that's it. So before anything is deducted from my asterisks, I think I will leave.
Thank you, Julie.
You've done an amazing job.
Thank you,
Thank
yes.
you.
And yes, it looks like there's a negative 1.9 million that's going away, but after we restructured and reclassified based on the salary study, they also have a contract that they are using for a third party to bring in some of these CNAs and RNs that will start to be depleted no longer because we're actually filling these positions. So yes, after the restructuring, it's going to be a negative 1.9, but when I add everything back in, it's additional $464,000 to the operation budget. But like I said, these positions are getting filled, which is kind of exciting for the medical out there. Okay. Do you have any questions regarding the jail correctional medicine? No new positions, just reclassifying. Underneath the health and wellness clinic, due to the restructuring and moving people around and putting the services where they actually need to be placed, we are deleting a nurse practitioner, a nurse, and a medical clerk underneath the health and wellness clinic. And this is coming out of the Health and Life Fund, not the general fund, but it's going to be saving the Health and Life Fund $413,000 due to the restructuring at the jail medical as well as our health and our employee clinic. Okay, so 3 positions will be deleted. The next is going to be forensic services. This is part 1 and 2, and so I'm going to ask Dr. Jen to come up and explain these positions. And we're about to open. Exciting.
Good afternoon. I'm very excited to get started with opening the office come September 1st, and I've been very appreciative for everything that's been going on and y'all's support and getting everything set up and staffing. And I'm here today to ask for more staffing. So the first position is the continuing of our administrative assistant. I believe right now it is a temporary position, but we do need one administrative assistant to continue with the processing for death certificates, the documentation that goes on at the office, answering phones, greeting individuals who come to the office in person, etc. The next 2 positions are for additional medical legal death investigators. We currently have 2. They started on Monday. And one is from the local community, another one just moved here from Virginia. And to adequately staff our office for 24-hour service with everyone to take vacations in the future or sick leave or whatever turnover we may need, I'm asking for 2 additional investigators, one to be funded at the beginning of the year and another one to be funded at a later date. That way everyone can, once they've accumulated their time, they can take it appropriately. I feel this is necessary in that other counties with medical legal death investigator offices, including Webb County, Nueces, Parker, Johnson County, I contacted them and looked up online. Each of them have 4 investigators plus a chief investigator to staff their offices, and their populations range from 184,000 to 218,000 offices. When I contacted them, they were pretty satisfied with having that number of investigators, and I think that would be adequate for our staffing. The next position I'm asking for, is for a part-time forensic lab technician. We will have a full-time person starting in 2 weeks, and she will be helping me doing autopsies. And as we go on and we are taking on other county cases, her job is going to get even more busy. Not only will she helping to check in bodies, decedents, performing autopsies, but also releasing to the funeral homes, speaking to families, and also working with our staff. And so having an additional part-time person later on would help, balance her workload, as well as she can take her time off. And right now we've been getting a a lot of applicants for this position. We were fortunate to get our selected person, and so I think this will be a popular position too with the college kids. And the last one is for an educational coordinator, unfunded this time, and this is for the benefit of the community. I feel that particularly as we start having electives with Texas A&M medical students, we'll want to add on additional electives and internships and other opportunities with Blinn and Texas A&M undergrad. And to do so, I'd like to have an educational coordinator to help balance that and assist with the teaching. It's unfunded, and I'm hoping to sit down with Texas A&M to help them, meet us in the middle, as it were. And from previous interactions I've had with them, I'm encouraged that this could happen.
Thank you, Doctor. I hope you continue to see all of us vertically.
Yes, I do.
I do want to go back, and she did wonderful. Keep in mind that most of these positions are unfunded. It's wise for us to plan for the future, especially if y'all want to go out for contracts for the county, is to have those positions established, not funded. She would still come to Commissioners Court when the time is right to fill them, and then we could prorate based on how many payrolls we have left for the remainder of the year. Place they're established, the county surrounding look like we're serious, that we're willing to take on those contracts. So we want to make sure that the ME is set for future, that we're set for to do well. Okay, so it sound good?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
The next is going to be, we're almost done. We have two more. I want to ask for a break, and then we're going to finalize everything. That way I can have like a little 5-10 minute break, and then we'll call it good. But
2 minute break.
okay, we do 2 minutes. That's fine. We don't have to do a break at all. I'm just trying to relieve y'all.
We
for a
don't want to
little
hit 5 o'clock traffic.
We got traffic? We're not growing. Okay, next is gonna be records management, personnel. This is a salary request to increase as well as a title change. Desmond? We got 56 minutes. We're good.
Good afternoon.
What's the current title of this position? You said-
Records clerk and scanner.
Records clerk, okay.
And I want to change them to a records coordinator. I'm going to be doing a lot of changes to our records here soon so that we can get caught up. There's a lot of things that need to be cleaned up with storage and with our records so that we are not liable for some things that could happen. It's just a lot of policies and things like that that I want to put in place. So I'm going to be changing her duties that add her to do a lot more things that she do now.
Okay. So the scanner part is that you're digitizing, you're digitizing your records? Is that what the scanner part of it is?
Yes, we are actively trying to bring everything digital,
Okay.
department by department. So she will continue to do those duties, but I'm going to add on.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next is gonna be Road and Bridge. This is a request to delete a heavy equipment operator that was zero funded to create a flagger, and I'll ask Prathana to come up.
So delete.
We don't have asterisks, so you get to hear more from me. And I wonder why we don't have an asterisk on this one, because I had asked for this
Because it's
last
50
year.
grand for a flagger. 50 grand for a flagger.
I'm actually
Chingalinga.
saving you.
That's crazy.
Well, let's dig a little deeper into that number. Hold on for just a second. This request is to replace one unfunded heavy equipment operator 3 position with one full-time flagger laborer position. It is not an additional position. It realigns an existing vacancy with our work crews that we need every day and reduces the hourly rate from $22.79 to $20.64, producing approximately $4,472,000 in annual salary savings. The suggestion was actually made to contract out our flagging operations altogether. For Road and Bridge, that would be highly impractical. because traffic control is not an occasional or separately scheduled activity. It is part of our daily routine operations. Our crews perform road repairs, pavement patching, culvert installation, ditch work, mowing, sign work, bridge maintenance, and emergency response throughout the county. Many of these activities require traffic control to protect both our employees and the traveling public. These assignments also change frequently. A crew may complete work at one location and move to 2-3 additional locations during the same day. Weather, equipment conditions, citizen concerns, drainage problems, emergency calls may also require us to change priorities. A contractor would have to schedule, dispatch, and be paid for mobilization, travel, standby time, and minimum service periods. Our crews could be delayed while waiting for contract personnel, or county could pay contractors during periods when weather or changing field conditions prevent the planned work. A full-time flagger laborer travels with the crew and is immediately available whenever traffic control is needed. The employee does much more than flag traffic. The position helps place and remove signs, cones, barricades, perform manual road and drainage work, clears brushes, debris, assists with patching, supports equipment operators. Therefore, when active flagging is not required, that employee remains productive as part of the maintenance crew. We also need flaggers in pairs to control both ends of a work zone. Our current odd number creates a staffing imbalance and requires us to pull skilled equipment operators away from graders, loaders, or rollers to flag traffic. That leaves expensive equipment idle and reduces crew productivity. This reclassification provides dependable daily traffic control capacity, improves work zone safety, keeps skilled operators on their equipment, and costs less than the position it replaces. It is the most practical and cost-effective staffing operation for our ongoing operations. So it's actually not increasing. It's decreasing the,
So you're taking a current position,
reclassifying it
recasting
to a lower,
and it's actually a lower salary.
yes.
The $50,000 is the total, salary and benefits.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, well, I was gonna ask for a break, but if y'all wanna zoom through this proposal, then we can
Roll
do
on,
Zoom.
roll
Okay,
on.
Go on.
before we start,
Yes.
so, point of clarification.
Yes, ma'am?
The ones that aren't asterisk, let's say, for example, that people are making special requests
ma'am.
for, because it's being done in this forum, it's, and yes, they're giving explanations, but on the one hand, given what people are asking for, what I'm seeing that is somewhat concerning is that we have some really fine people who work for the county.
Oh,
In terms of,
definitely.
I consider them all essential workers. Within that population of people, I'm hearing a lot of, in order for the county to function, you have people in certain departments who are, as one of the judges is, that she cross-trains. And so it sounds like to me, because of the work that is to be done is so necessary to the county, we have a lot of really great people who have stepped in to do multiple jobs when there is a shortage. And that, to me, says that that is some valuable work that they are doing for the county. Yet, because we can't afford to hire multiple people to five, it's kind of like what the judge was saying that she needs. I think the same thing out at the expo. The people who are needed to do those jobs, by virtue of our limited funds, resources, we're not able to fill all of those jobs. And so the variation of what is asterisk and what is not
Yes, ma'am.
could potentially, have significant impact on the work getting done. As someone mentioned earlier, create burnout or create another vacancy, because at some point when you're being overworked, but there's no reward, there's no what feels like appreciation for what you do, you've created another vacancy that also impacts the service that we are required to give, because people really don't care. All they want to know is that we're doing the job that the county's supposed to do, whether it's funded or not. And so I have some concerns because you're kind of asking us, I guess, here today to say yay or nay on some of these that are not asterisk, but the request has been made. And so I guess my question to you is if I take this and go back and get clarification on some that I may want to add, for us to decide, I recognize that it's going to have to be a court decision.
Yes, ma'am.
But today, I don't know that I'm ready. I have some that I'm thinking I want to say, can we not add it to the budget for consideration?
For adoption, here's
For
the issue.
adoption,
I'm
but-
taking the court's recommendations based on the salary study across the board. And so that's what I'm proposing, based on what court has recommended to HR a couple of weeks ago.
So the ones you didn't asterisk are the ones that you're not recommending?
I'm not recommending based on what the courts made the recommendation based on the salary study. And so, to me, above and beyond that needs to be a court's vote. If you want to go above and beyond what y'all have recommended prior, I think y'all need to bring it to adoption and y'all need to take a vote on it.
But you're not asking us to vote on it today. It's
No,
gonna be
no,
later,
this is
so-
what I'm doing. I'm proposing
I
what's gonna be.
understand that, but if I make the request, it has to be voted on by.
It will have to
by
be
the
voted
court.
during the adoption.
And so then I've made the request, but it could be
Voted down.
voted down.
Yes, ma'am. And this is solely based on the discussion when Jennifer and HR brought in remember the 85% overpaid based on the salary study, and we wanted only budget certain items regarding the 10% above the minimum.
Yeah.
That was
10% of
Above the minimum.
above the
minimum,
minimum.
right.
And that's the recommendation that was told to HR to move forward with, and that's what I am proposing. Anything above and beyond that needs to be a court's recommendation to the separate
Which I
action.
understand that part I understand.
Yes, ma'am.
But I just, it's just,
Because then
again,
go ahead.
again, I understand what the study is saying, but then you're hearing about all of these people who are doing multiple jobs, but the scope of the job or the job description says, for example, I'm a bailiff, but then she's saying her bailiff is also serving as a court coordinator. I mean, they're serving multiple jobs
And I
that are
can't-
necessary to the operation for her to be successful or function. And yet we're saying, well, because of the study, that part, and that's the hard part that I
Yes.
have in terms of the foundation of this study, that it is not taking into account the actual job that people, and I realize that's an individual thing so I'm really struggling with that.
It's hard to
Personally.
for my position, I do believe that every single department head and elected official was asked to reevaluate every single job description currently. That was the goal for everyone to do. Now, if they did not take that serious at the time of the salary survey and they didn't review their actual duties and didn't put it into the study, I can't speak for that.
Okay, but here's my dilemma. I hate to keep using that bailiff, but
Okay.
that was one that really resonated with me. The bailiff job description says this.
Yep.
Yet in a particular department or a particular court, so not all bailiffs do the same thing. So if that particular court said in my job description, my bailiff does X, Y, Z and X, Y, Z and add a Q to it. But the rest of the other bailiffs, per the survey, the bailiff's job description says the bailiff only, this is what the role of the bailiff is. But then you have this individual by virtue of the necessity of the operation of that unit, that department, that court, that does this. How do we reconcile that? Because that's not fair. And then if that bailiff, because they're going to lose a bailiff, so then they'll get a bailiff that is not trained to be the multiple roles that this person needs. So those roles need to be filled in order for them to operate. My concern is how do we reconcile that without saying, okay, then that person needs to hire another person because that's not a bailiff's duty. And I know that's not you, so I don't know whether that's an HR question, but it is very problematic because as the court, who are policymakers for the operation of the county, those duties still have to be performed.
Yes, they do.
And she's gonna have the ability to be able to make that recommendation
She will.
next week?
She will have the ability after I propose. I'm going to propose the budget on the 18th based on Commissioners Court recommendation on what has been discussed with the salary survey.
Yes, ma'am.
After that, you'll have until August 21st to give me a handwritten email, letter, memo about what you'd like to put into the adoption. I will work up those calculations, and then I will let you read the motion during the day of adoption, which is September 1st, and it will be voted on.
Okay, good.
Okay. The issue is if you start restructuring on the court coordinators, bailiffs, clerks, going against what the study has said, then we have wasted $300,000.
Well, and that's the hard part in terms of how do we build that into that study? Because again, it's about the function of the county.
Right, and going off of that, this study is not an end-all be-all. There's gonna be,
Right.
it should be reevaluated nonstop, right? And so we have to have a base. If we don't create a base for us to move forward, then we're gonna be stuck to the group and step chart, people being paid more than other court coordinators or bailiffs based on
Right,
years,
right,
merit, and
right.
so we're trying to make a baseline. Moving forward, it's gonna be our duty to make sure that we're evaluating these positions and job descriptions nonstop and tell them we don't have a system.
Okay, can we move forward so we can get out of here?
Yes.
Wait,
Let me get back in. So currently, we're gonna go ahead and go over the proposed budget. It's logging in, it's sleeping. Okay. First one's gonna be the county judge. This is gonna be a title change for the chief of staff to the county manager. 0 funding input, change for next year. So that's gonna go ahead and be proposed. The next one is gonna be veteran services. This is an increase from part-time to full-time and a title change, as what has discussed. An increase to the county budget of $61,725. Facility services, this was to create additional general tech position. At the time, after we were discussing this, especially after this morning's Commissioners Court, it's gonna be additional position to that department with a total increase of $79,902. And keep in mind, these are estimates until I put them into the system. District Attorney, this is to move the 28% of salary from his special district clerk fund to the general fund, costing the county $22,107. The district clerk, the request coming from the general fund will not be added into the budget, but the one position from the special funds will be added, and I'll discuss that when we get closer down. The juvenile court referee, the salary grade increase, this is for the supplement. It has been requested to go from $3,500 to $15,000 with a cost of $13,692. Granted, we do not have the supplement information from Siegel. This one I'm going to leave in discussion to Commissioners Court. Any input? Right now, it's not included in the budget, just because I'm waiting for the salary information to come back for us to set up a supplement system.
Let's wait for that.
does it allow, so what if it doesn't come back before we need to finalize the
Changes
budget?
mid-year. We can make changes come October 1st or,
Okay.
we're able to do that. I will let you know that I'm in the middle of writing a policy to allow us to make changes mid-year. The thing is, I'm going to be proposing this budget based on position. So I'm going to publish the positions out for everyone to see, and the budget's going to be based on position. So if there's $50,000 established to that clerk, only that $50,000 would be established to that clerk. And I think that's the direction that I have felt from the Commissioners Court and some of the salary survey discussions. And so the positions, every single position will be published to allow for everyone to see. Any comments, discussion, input? Crickets?
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move forward.
Yeah, I was just saying, thank you. I think we got it. Go on.
I'm trying here. Next is gonna be a felony associate judge. This is to create the new court. Hilburn did a wonderful explanation of why the reasons we need to establish associate judge. It's gonna be a judge full-time as well as a bailiff. We will get the court order to be reviewed to move forward on an additional CCL 3. Look for that to come. The next is going to be the misdemeanor associate court. This is a title change and an increase. they're staying within the range. The judge could come to y'all during October and ask for additional funding if they see fit, but it is gonna be budgeted at the mid. The family, the same thing for the bailiff. The family associate court is going to be a salary grade change. Again, it's above and beyond the salary survey, so it will not be in the budget. The Justice of the Peace Precinct 1 is additional position. It has not been proposed. JP4, again, beyond the salary grade, salary survey change will not be proposed. The position for the